Boridar. Recently, me and my partner took a short trip to Wales, which included passing through the wonderful town of
Stoke-on-Trent,
visiting this landlocked ship, this beach where I remembered I don't like sand,
I don't like sand.
this lighthouse that was used to guide training Spitfire pilots during the war, this fabulous Gilburn GT, and this garden centre, which was an odd addition to the trip. Usually, I avoid these kinds of places. They're always too warm, we always have to go with the mother-in-law, and they never have anything of interest on sale. Well, that is interesting. This, as you probably know, is a Willem Furgonetti, an Italian-made microvan powered by a Lambretta scooter engine and sold primarily in France. I made a video about these last year which you can go and watch here, where I talked about how they seemingly inspired the look of Postman Pat's van, and shortly after posting that video was made aware that one existed in a North Wales garden centre. In fact, I was made aware of its existence only one day after uploading that video, which was the same day that I got back from a trip to, well, you guessed it. So being back in the area, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to go and have a bit of a gander. First impressions are, it's bloody small, smaller than you expect. I previously joked that these vans weren't much bigger than one of those ride-on Postman Pat vans you'd find outside Tesco's, but it's genuinely that small. Just for size comparison, look at it next to this normal average build human. Secondly, it's only having seen one of these in person that I noticed the 4 raised sections in the roof, which I assume to provide a generous extra inch or 2 of headroom. Sadly, this example doesn't currently run, but other than that appears to be in lovely condition, made up to look just like Pat's van from the original show. And just to clarify here, I know that the original van likely wasn't based off of this design, but the sound used was from a 1922 Morris Bullnose, and it definitely wasn't based on one of those. Also, you can't deny that when made up to look like Pat's van, it absolutely delivers. And talking of delivery, how about we do some shipping? Yeah, I didn't have a transition for this one. This is the Duke of Lancaster, a landlocked ship located at the Llanollenmore Wharf. I have no idea if that's right, but we'll go with it. Starting life on the slipways of Harland and Wolff, it was one of 3 sister ships which were the last passenger-only steamer ships to be built for British Railways back in 1955. She primarily served the Heysham to Belfast route, however was known to travel to the Scottish Highlands, Denmark, Belgium, and even as far away as Spain. From 1963, she, along with her sisters, the Duke of Rothesay and the Duke of Argyll, sailed under the colours of SeaLink, with her later being rebuilt in 1970 to accommodate motor vehicles, via a door at her stern. In 1975, she found herself serving a variety of routes, before eventually being withdrawn in 1978 and laid up in Barrow in Furness, her future uncertain. Usually, this would be the end of the story, however it's what happened afterward that makes this ship notable. In 1979, she was sailed to her current location where a dock was built around her, with the intent to make her a retail complex and fun ship. This was an attempt to bypass the then Sunday trading laws, which didn't apply to ships. However, it appears the local council didn't take too kindly to this venture, and after frequent legal battles, the owners decided to close the ship in 2004. Since then, the ship has passed through a number of owners, all of which have had similar issues turning the ship into a viable business venture, and as of 2025, she has remained rooted in her place for 46 years, twice as long as her time as a passenger vessel. The final stop on our wee Welsh weekend was the Llangollen Motor Museum, a cracking little attraction nestled just outside the town itself, that's chock full of oddities from the heyday of motoring. I love these kinds of museums, they feel lived in, with a real sense of warmth to them, and is that a Sinclair C5? Besides vintage advertisements, merchandise and garage equipment, the museum boasts an amazing collection of motorbikes and cars, including a TVR in its natural habitat, this one-off Douglas Hartley Special featuring a custom-built body atop a Cortina and Corsair running gear, and this gorgeous Gilburn GT, just one of 280 examples made by the only Welsh car manufacturer. Founded in South Wales in 1959 by Welsh butcher Giles Smith and German engineer Bernard Fries, they specialised in low-output fiberglass sports cars, initially available as kits, but later producing full cars. This is an example of their first model, the Gilburn GT, a small 2+2 coupe that revolved around parts sourced from an Austin A35, a popular small family car from the time. You'll probably recognise the van variant as the absolute weapon that Wallace drives. Later versions featured engines sourced from MG and could reach a staggering 94 miles per hour, with 60 achievable in just 13.8 seconds, which is about the same as my Fiat. And I know which one I'd prefer to drive. It's actually suspected that this example is the very first production model made, and for a small manufacturer who made cars at a speed of one a month, it's quite the looker. In fact, it doesn't take a trained eye to notice hints of Aston Martin in the styling. I really recommend this place if you are passing by. It's a good way to spend an hour or two and is a nice change from the typical clean cars in neat rows under bright lighting that we've come accustomed to in motor museums. It feels much more akin to popping into your dad's shed, but bigger and full of things that probably work. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Well, I suppose it became a travel vlog in the end, really, didn't it? Don't worry, normal service will resume shortly. Hwyl fwa.